Alright, what's going on, guys? So we are back going to be doing some more light fishing, scaling things down, and we're going to be looking at some more new Z-Man products out of their micro finesse collection. So these are the same lure, just different colors. This is the LarvaZ, so it's also 1.75 inches. This is the bloodworm color here, which looks pretty cool. Don't know if we're going to use this one today. I think I'm going to use this pink one today, the pink glow color. A nice kind of creamy pink color. I'm going to throw this guy on a little jig head and I'll show it to you when it's on there so you can get a better look at it. But yeah, we're just going to be throwing this guy around on this lake here today, and we'll see what we can get on it. Alright, so here is the lure on a 1/32 ounce jig head. I believe it's a size 8 hook, but I'm not sure. As always, links to all the gear that I use will be in the description. It's a very cool looking lure. I do have a feeling though, this might be one of those lures that catches humans more than it catches fish, just because the design is really cool. And it definitely looks like a larva. I think the big problem is going to be this very long tail, which should attract a lot of strikes. But I think a lot of fish are just going to bite this and pull, and they're not going to be able to get their hook or get their mouth around the hook. Also, this is the super stretchy, super durable material that Z-Man uses, but it's such, like, there's such a thin connection right there at the base of the tail that I think I'm going to end up losing this tail on a lot of these lures. Hopefully I'm wrong. Let's go ahead and make some casts with this. Let's hope some good things happen. There we go, fish on. All right, I pulled a little bit of drag. It's an okay sized largemouth, but he's wrapped up in all this algae that we got here close to shore. Let's see if we can get him in through all this without losing him. He's pulling all right. Is he still on? I think so. I'm just pulling in several pounds of this algae with him. I don't know if I can pull him in. He's still on. But look at all this. And I've got to pull it over the top of all these grasses now. I don't know, man. Let's see if I can get him. Alright, so we got him on the little larvae thingy here. I ended up having to take my shoes off and go in the water to get this guy out. But I think it was well worth it. It's a kind of long one, but he's also pretty heavy for his length, so I am pretty happy with this guy. First fish of the day is a nice little acrobatic largemouth. So let's fix all this algae that's wrapped up all over my line, and let's get back to it. Another bite there, but of course just bit the tail. Then I cast it out into some algae. Got him. It's going to be a little Mayan. Still pulling really well. And of course, it had to wrap itself up in this algae here. And now I got to pull it over these grasses. Come on. Thankfully, it's a small little guy. All right, he's somewhere under all that. All right, we finally got ourselves a second fish on this little LarvaZ from Z-Man. pretty small as far as mine cichlids go. Still put up a great fight because these guys always pull really well. So we're getting a pretty good amount of hits. It's just we're not really hooking up with many. Got him. Lost him. That was a bluegill. And actually I thought I hooked that one pretty well. But if we take a look at the lure, I think he just kind of grabbed the tail and pulled it. Didn't have the whole thing in his mouth. So the lure's still in pretty good shape considering the number of little hits I've had. But it's not producing many hookups. Oh, there we go. That's going to be another little Mayan. These guys still pull really well. Second Mayan cichlid of the day. Alright, so I'm looking for the bluegills, the native panfish, but all we're getting really are these non-native panfish in Mayan cichlids. Again, hit that pink-colored LarvaZ. We got one largemouth now, 2 Mayans, and no bluegill. Got one. Little largemouth. Let me tell you the story about this guy for a second. Alright, so another largemouth, and it is a tiny one. So the story of this guy, if you noticed, I just kind of started reeling in, and he was on there. So I cast it out, put my rod down for a second to get some B-roll shots, and as soon as I picked my rod up, started reeling it back in, that largemouth was on there. So absolutely no action given to that lure. It was just sitting on the bottom, and that guy hit it. Alright guys, so roughly an hour and 15 minutes later or so, that's going to do it. And I've got to say, I'm a little disappointed with the Z-Man LarvaZ over here. Let's take a look at the one that I've been using all day, because I am impressed. It's not all bad. I am impressed that this lure still stayed together, or I should say stayed together and is still in one piece, because I had tons and tons of hits where they would just grab the tail, pull it many times, even some bigger fish. So I would get my lure back like that several times. And this section here is really thin, especially that point right there where the tail attaches to the body. Super thin. And honestly, this looks perfect, just the same way it looked when I put it on a little bit over an hour ago. The only difference here is some of the legs got pulled off, which I didn't think was going to happen, because I mean, very rarely are fish really going to just bite this little thing. Usually they're going to go from the back and kind of bite the tail here. So I'm surprised the tail stayed in one piece and that the little legs there got taken off. But outside of that, it is still a perfect little lure. It looks just like it came out of the package, of course, except for those little legs there, which is an interesting little thing. I didn't think that would happen, but I am surprised that it stayed together for as long as it did. Now, unfortunately, the fish really, for some reason, just didn't like it. Now, of course, it's only my first time fishing it, so maybe it's just a bad day. Maybe it's a bad time of day. Maybe I chose a bad color. So I'm definitely going to fish it more, but I did think it was going to work a little bit better, because any sort of small little bug like this, all the fish should just go after it instantly. If you've been following my channel for any length of time and you've watched any of my pan fishing videos, you have probably seen me use the Eurotackle Anisoptera and the Nico caddisfly. So two of my absolute favorite pan fish, and especially bluegill lures. And I really thought this one might join them in the same category as my favorite. It's really similar. The main difference I think is it's a little bit bigger here, especially with these eyes, and then it tapers down really quickly. And I'm wondering if it's just a little bit too thick here in the body portion, and that's what's kind of turning the fish off. I really had high hopes for this one. Thought I was going to join the caddisfly and the anisoptera as kind of my god tier, legendary tier panfish lures, but for some reason it didn't. So I'll test it out again. I've got the other color, bought 2 packs because I thought it was going to work out really well. So we'll see if it works out better at some point in the future. And I still got a couple different lures from Z-Man that I got to try out over the next couple videos here. So even though we didn't get a lot of fish, hope you guys liked it, and I will see you guys next time.